Hello, everyone. We are back. Another episode in the Design Lounge. This is the Inspiration Series, and I'm super excited to have world-renowned, amazing photographer Ema Peter. For those that don't know or haven't heard about her, don't know her work, Emma, please describe what you do and kind of like your background.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm an architectural photographer. I started as a photojournalist and
Yes,
later on fell in love with architecture. So now I'm describing myself a little bit as a kind of architectural photojournalist. So I
love
work
that.
with some of the kind of the well-known firms in architecture and design. I do both design and architecture. I love this because somebody told me you have to kind of decide in which direction you're going, but I never decided. I stayed with both. So I do architecture and interior design, and I travel around the world. As you know, we were just
Yeah,
I was just having adventures on airports.
yeah. No, I'm so glad you made it. I know it was so interesting because, of course, we're talking back and forth via email, and I'm checking out the Instagram, and I'm like, oh, I know some of those designers. I know some of those projects. So it was cool to actually look at some of them. I'll talk about them later. But this episode is about inspiration, right? There's so many ways we can pull it and how you're inspired. But one of the things I want to start off with is discomfort. I know that's one of your
Mhm.
maxims, chasing discomfort gives discomfort daily because you feel like that's where it pulls you and stresses you. Um, would you say are you now at a place where you feel the most inspired when you are just uncomfortable?
Sense. I think the biggest mistake is to feel comfortable because people get used to their habits, their life, their mundane, everyday, boring routines. And I
Yeah.
think the moment you challenge yourself and the moment you think, okay, can I do this? This is the very beginning of the answer, yes, I can. I love the movie Yes Man. So, like, I try to
Okay.
say yes to pretty much most of the things
Yeah.
because I feel the only way the universe somehow gives you back is if you say, okay, I want to try a new adventure. I want to be out there and experience it all. And this is the same with photography. You need to constantly look at things in a very fresh way with different eyes. And this only happens if you can pivot your perspectives. And I try to do this daily, and I try to communicate with people that have kept that childlike awe of existing. So challenging myself, even there you go, I was in Turkey and St. Caicos like the last 3 4 days, and it was excruciatingly hot, and like the light, especially at dusk, was falling so quickly, and I'm trying to do the drones and I'm trying to put the moto in the right place, and it's 40 degrees and it pushes your body so much. But
Yeah.
the moment when you're in that extreme, you feel okay, something magical happens at that point. I think somehow, as I said, the universe gives you back, and I'm a true believer of this.
No, absolutely, and I love that because they're like that ceiling, if you will. It's like that ceiling, that invisible ceiling that everyone thinks they have. It's like no, you can push past it, but you only get it by saying yes to new experiences, new things. I was recently rereading, believe it was Atomic Habits, and it
Yes.
talks about commitment devices, and it literally is like when you want to do something, what is that thing you can say yes to? That will force you to do the things that you're looking to do. So saying yes to something new or saying something that's outside of the norm, but saying yes to it and be like, okay, just by saying yes to this thing, now I'm forced to grow and expand and do new things. Again, this is inspiration. I know you were named one of like 10 of the most inspiring photographers. What
Yeah,
what
there's a
what will
lot of top
there,
tens
there's a
going
lot, but
around. There's a
but
lot
that
of amazing photographers out there, but like, yeah, like I'm very grateful when I mentioned.
no, totally. But I'm like, okay, well, this inspiration. She was literally named one of the 10 2023 inspiration photographers. What was that like? What is like, doing it as long as you have? What is like getting that recognition?
Do you know, it's lovely in the moment, like when you
Okay,
read it, and then like I'm from the type of people that are never really satisfied because
gotcha.
you're
Yeah.
constantly searching for something. And for me, the journey is so much more fun than
Hmm.
achieving something. You
Yeah.
get an award, you get recognition for something, you get an exhibition. It is actually the road to getting there that is the adventure. The moment you
Yeah.
get there, okay, where's the next mountain? What am I
Right.
climbing next? And this helps you grow. And I mean, Architizer, I have an award right behind me. That's why it's reminding me constantly when I look at the screen. Architizer, I've tried for 12 years every year. And I've won it. And I always keep thinking, why am I doing this every
Yeah.
year? It's a different jury. And I always think, can I still pull that
Yeah.
amazing show
Okay.
that actually will make a difference?
Yeah.
And it's almost like competing with yourself or setting goals,
Hmm.
because dreams without goals are just dreams.
Yeah. No.
That's a very good, it always stays with me. It's actually
Yeah.
Denzel Washington that like has an incredible inspirational speech that talks about never to think about falling backwards, always to think about falling forwards, because people need to experience life in a different way, and you need to never have a safety net. You always need to keep going forward, and you need to push yourself, and you need to try. Do you have it? You cannot think I got it.
Yes.
I got it
Yeah.
means nothing,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
there is a new wave of people that come in with inspiring ideas, and you need to stay on top of it.
Yeah. No. No. I mean, that's so true. Talking about the journey, I believe you launched in 2011, so you're coming up on 15 years. Next year will be 15 years. Knowing what you know now, what would you look back and tell yourself in those early years as you're just launching your business, that you're still working, still with Expedia, but launching your own? What would you be telling yourself about that journey that you're about to be thrust into?
Do you know, I don't have a single regret about anything I've done. I've worked 100% of the time with the same passion and the same speed. And recently, as the projects are getting more and more challenging, I feel okay, it was easier before because I was growing. Now
Yeah.
every project has to be exceptional. Now every time you need to
Yes.
pull something different, and you cannot stay in a box. I don't believe in style. I do have a style, but at the
Okay.
same time, I'm like, I want to know how to photograph in rain. I want to know how to photograph in crowded spaces and be okay and just let myself be and let myself experience each space. So yes, people recognize me for I love lights and I chase the light, but at the same time, recently I've tried it all. I've
Yeah.
tried different styles, a different way of photographing, different techniques, because I thought, okay, this is the next level. The next level is understanding how to work my craft in different ways.
Yeah.
And kind of knowing it all, because having that knowledge is gold.
Talk about that, because I think that's such important. I don't want to gloss over that. The fact is, people are going to be watching this, right? And they're going to be like, "Oh my goodness, Ema Peter, amazing, won these awards, top 10, whatever this, all these awards here." But here you are saying, yet you are at what some would be like at the top, or where a lot of people would hope their career would go to, and you're still changing, you're still adapting, you're still pushing yourself and pulling and trying new things. Talk about that idea of trying new things, even when from the outside looking in, you might have made it, right? Like most people, they get to their point and they're like, they get comfortable, but they get comfortable
They
because
do.
their success makes them comfortable. But you're saying and it goes back to your maxim. You want to stay uncomfortable, but you're still trying new things, even though you've already hit, you know, the top.
The top visionary people have purpose.
Mm,
Visionary people that change life and industry and their own industries and other industries that are they're connected with have purpose. So I think one of the big things for me when I got to that moment was, okay, so what's the purpose? What do you really want to showcase? So I think this is the next level. The next level is being so comfortable with how you operate and how you photograph that you actually start looking inside to find out what really your values are and what is your purpose. And recently, a lot of my friends do mass timber buildings and they really think about the future.
okay.
And more, I'm thinking, okay, my purpose maybe is displaying exactly this, because there isn't one photographer that is displaying all of the environmentally friendly buildings or the mass timber buildings. So maybe that would be the focus. So the change comes also with knowing who you are, knowing where you want to go, setting some goals, and surrounding yourself with people that are trying to change the world somehow, that they're trying to make an impact. So photographing is not for the sake of photographing. And my
Yeah.
inspirations have always been the Magnum photographers. They wanted to record what's happening in the world, record it in real life, and they were there and they were constantly chasing that moment. And we have to chase something. We have to chase with passion something that actually will make a difference in the world.
Yeah, I think that journalism core in you it leans into that a little bit. You recently shot Desert Rock in Saudi
Yes,
Arabia, and I know you said you're inspired by that. I happen to know Studio Paolo Ferrari. He's been on the show a couple times. Excellent guy.
yes.
We met the first time in Toronto. Then we spoke again recently on this episode, one of these shows. What was it about that project that was so inspiring, or was it the space? Was it the project? What was it about being there that was so inspiring?
Well, I've always wanted to see the future. This
Okay.
was my goal starting to work with the architects and the designers is I wanted
Yeah.
because they have such incredible imagination. I wanted to experience the future somehow. So people like Paolo
Yes.
see the world in such a different way. And do you know, he made me in this incredible location think about the detail, think about the actual custom detail of what he's created. And he made me understand that yes, you can see the bigger picture, you can do the wide shots of this incredible location. But the most impactful shots were actually the ones that you can suggest the luxury, suggest the
Okay.
craftsmanship. So he taught me something. He was an incredible teacher from
Yeah.
from exactly this kind of a value of hidden little hints to the viewer that this is what's happening. You don't need to show the whole room or the whole lobby. You can show a tiny little piece that really matters.
Yeah.
I've had teachers before in the industry, but Paulo was the next level for me, absolutely. And he's very passionate, and I'm very passionate. So put two very passionate people together. We worked nonstop. We could have worked
Yes.
the whole
Yes.
time. And also he's incredibly knowledgeable in his eye for photography. He
Okay.
knew exactly what he wants, how he wants it, but we were very aligned.
Yeah.
So he showed me the beauty of the detail, I have to say. I think that this was a new lesson for me. He's
Yeah. No. He
exceptional.
he really is, and it's funny you say that because when you were talking about that, it made me think about something we talked about in the conversation. He was talking about one of the bars that they did in Toronto, and it was a
Yeah.
space. He was talking about like how you see it from a different area, and then honestly, it reminded me of what you said in different interviews, and where you said, sometimes when you take a photo, you see it, and the architect is like, "Oh my goodness, I've never seen it." Like you expose
Yes.
their own building to them because you see it in a way that they don't even see it.
Yes, and do you know with Paolo, we had this symbiosis almost because I would position the camera and this would be where he's going. And this was the
Okay.
beauty of it as well, was that really beautiful kind of interwoven relationship where we see the world the same way, but we can both teach each other something. And I think I've spoken about collaborations between photographers
Hmm.
and architects, and I was giving it as an example Corbusier and Lucien Hervé, like when they were working together and how
Yeah.
he managed to record his work. And I think this is so important, finding that person for you that actually can showcase your work. But it's also like this beautiful relationship as well, where you can push each other and you can understand each other and you can be passionate about the same things, but bring something new to the scene. Yeah, so he's definitely was one of those eye-opening people for me.
Yeah, no, no, he's amazing. He's amazing. I know you've said, and I don't know if this was your quote or someone said it to you, whereas the world sees the architect's works through your eyes.
So this was, yes, this was a friend of mine, and it
Okay.
really, Michael Leckie, his Leckie Studio from Vancouver. I don't think I ever understood fully the value of what I am doing. For me, it's always been, I go and I immerse myself in the project because for me, making it justice is the important part. I
Mm,
know how much work is put in it, and I have
yeah,
this massive responsibility to showcase a project that the world will see it exactly what he said. The world will see my project through your eyes. And this was one of the most beautiful quotes.
yeah,
And for me, it really kind of shook me a little bit because I was like, yeah, the world sees their work through the photographer's eyes. So those relationships matter. How you present people's work matter. Not giving up until you get the absolute best of the project matter. And you need to keep that passion.
yeah,
You can't just say, oh, well, I'm going to work. Then you're in the wrong job. Then you've forgotten what existence is all about. Because our existence is to help and to somehow elevate others, not only ourselves. We need to elevate others.
Yeah.
There's so much more satisfaction of that. But it was beautiful. I this will forever stay one of my favorite moments actually in my career.
No, no, no. I love that. I love it. And I want to talk about that because, again, if people are watching and the importance of the photographer and the architect and that relationship and that collaboration. I know you've talked about also, it's not just, you need to understand the business side of it. And I think you hit it on a little bit with
100%.
Pialo. Like, how much are you immersing yourselves? Can you break down, like, what is that like when you work with an architect? I know you work with them, you guys have communication all the time. And I know you've said you stay in constant contact.
Oh yeah.
But what is the split between the photo side and the business side? How much information are you pulling to know that you are capturing that moment to drive commerce? Because at the end of the day, it still needs to drive commerce.
100%. And I am a big fan of business and strategy. Like, I mean, my
Yeah.
favorite books from the very beginning were Art of War, Purple Cow, like some of the
Yep.
more
Yes.
kind of strategic books on how you need to position yourself. Because in this world, you can be exceptional, but if you don't know how to position yourself, if you don't understand your target market, you don't understand in which direction the world is moving, you're not part of that group of people that are trying to create that difference, then you are talented and you're amazing, but you stay under the radar. So for
Yeah.
me, I remember in the beginning with the Canadian architects, my biggest goal was to showcase them internationally, to make sure that the world sees what incredible Canadian architects we have. And I was pushing for a relationship with publications, pushing for relationships with editors, because I thought if I manage to display how good they are, they'll actually understand how good they are. Because there's
Okay.
a lot of modesty here.
Yeah.
I feel in Canada, people are just like more relaxed.
Yeah.
But I thought, why not? And it kind of really, I feel if I have any sort of contribution was that push. But I also stay on top of what's going on in the market.
Yeah.
I know very well what's going on in the market. We need to know how to tell a story. It's not only about recording beautiful images, but you need to tell the story, not only from the architect's perspective, but the visual perspective. And also, you need to create that one, I always call it the one image,
Okay.
because you need to shock people a little bit. People need to stop. You know, how many images do you look a day?
Exactly. Yeah. No. I mean,
Thousands.
thousands. Thousands.
We're drowning in images. So how do you make an impact is something needs to stop you. And this is why I always try to have those 10, 15 images that are incredible. I could do like 100, 200 images a project, but it has to have that leading image that everybody recognizes and the project is recognized by it. The architects don't like this a lot. They don't like one image to represent a project, but people need to remember one shot to be able to look at the rest of the project. Because
Yeah.
if they see the project, but it's, hey, like the leading image is not making me want to continue, then the
Exactly.
project is lost.
No, that's such a good point. I mean, it's almost like the first image on, a carousel on Instagram or whatever. It's like
Exactly.
you need that shot amongst the sea of images that's going to pull you in. And then you can see the layers and additional photos that tell the entire story. But if you don't have that capturing moment, if you will, people are just going to scroll by. People are just going to, look by and not even take it in.
And
Yeah.
we need to create emotion. I always think that at the end of the day, the viewer needs to look at something and say, oh my God, I want to be there. I want
Yeah.
to be the person inside of that shot. Where is this place? It's so important to create that emotional reaction in a viewer. And this is why photojournalism, the strongest images are on the front page of a newspaper. And then
Yeah.
people, like, they're chosen specifically. And when I was in Magnum Agency in Paris, which is, they were photojournalists, all of them, we were talking about how an image could actually make a person turn that newspaper around and not want to see it, and
Mm,
or make people just want to immerse himself or herself in the story.
yeah.
So I think it's important to actually create images that are emotionally charged, that people actually will understand or want to understand or want to be part of it. Especially in architecture, you want to make them want to be there or hire the architect to do the next job. And
Exactly.
imagine how this architect will create something incredible in their part of the world. Like I'm watching Albania at the moment with all of the changes there, with the architecture that is happening, and I'm thinking, this is it. They're trying to create a difference and a change. And this
Hmm.
happens with architecture.
Well, absolutely. I want to talk about your business acumen because obviously you mentioned it a lot in your marketing and strategy and your background within that. You made the decision to work with architects as opposed to magazines. What led you to that decision? Because obviously, Gray, we know we're a magazine, but obviously that was a I won't say a turning point, but that was obviously a decision where you were like, okay, I want to align myself with architects, and now you've reaped the benefits because you're busy. You have jobs and you're working
100.
all the time. You're all over the world all the time, as opposed to waiting for a phone call, to shoot a project. What made you make that decision?
The personalities.
Okay.
I love the relationships and the personalities, and from each person, I have actually changed the way I look at the world. So those relationships, when you're sitting after a long photo shoot and you're discussing something with an architect who's trying to explain to you their own world, it's so enriching. So for me, those relationships were extremely important. I didn't want to just create the stories and create them for the magazines. I still do. Like I
Yeah.
still work with the publications, but I'm richer because I'm surrounded by exceptional people that each views the world through their own experiences and passions and knowledge of photography and knowledge of architecture. And it's better. The world is better when you have all that knowledge or see the world in different ways.
Totally. I know you talk about passion, and I know you said like you have to be crazy for this job, and I think it was from you talking.
Yeah.
You were like driving for 11 hours across like a storm. Is that one of those necessary components to be successful? Because I mean, like you ooze with energy, right? You can tell that you're passionate about what you do, and you almost have to be, like I said, be that enamored or crazy about what you do. Is that a principle that people need? And also, because sometimes people want to shy away from that a little bit, right? They don't want to showcase how excited and how absorbed they are with what they're doing. But for you, and I mean in the most positive way, like is that a component of success? Would you say? Yeah.
When you love what you do, when you're passionate about what you do, everybody around you feel it. I was recently with Nigel Parrish from Splice Design, and he saw me that clouds were dark, and suddenly the sun showed up, and it was unbelievable. And I was running like a crazy person from one end to the other. He was telling me that energy is actually catching. Like you just
Mhm.
feel passionate about what you do when you watch passionate people.
Yeah. That
And
transfers the energy almost. It's almost like that transfers
it
the energy.
does. It
Yeah.
does. So I always think you really have to be passionate. You cannot, I mean, sometimes people are in jobs that they don't want to be in. But again, can we pivot the
Yeah.
perspective? Can you actually look at it from a different way? Or if you don't have an option to live it, can you actually do something to create in your world something that pushes you forward and makes you passionate to get up in the morning and to actually keep going? Because I bet you there'll be those little doors that we can find in any situation, um, that we can open. I mean, do you know, I've watched photographers be passionate, and yes, they reach the success and they suddenly are like, okay, well, I'm comfortable, as you said in the beginning.
Yeah.
And then this is the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
The moment you relax, the moment you don't want to take that next step, this is the moment that things go downhill. So I am more scared of this than anything in the world. I'm more scared that I'll wake up one morning and I won't feel like the way I feel at the moment. So yeah, this will never hopefully leave me. This is like,
Yeah.
if anyone wants to wish me something, it would be to continue to feel this way. But it's also fabulous because
Totally.
I don't think I ever stop looking at, as you said, clouds. I mean, I'm there on the plane, like constantly doing videos or taking photos of the cloud. I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose that awe of existence and of the world.
No, I think what you said reminds me. I believe it's the book The E-Myth, which I read. It's one of my favorite books. It talks about like there is no such thing as a boring job. It's only the boring person within that job. And essentially, what he was saying is like
This is
anything you
brilliant.
do, anything you do is the person what you bring into it, right? So there is no such thing as a good job, a bad. It is the person and the energy you bring that you almost breathe life into what you're doing, and that it is representation of you, not the actual job or the duty or responsibility. What is the craziest thing you've done for a shot for a because I know you've done, I heard you were
A
like
lot.
been in a sense to take to make sure you get the right photo and looked over things. What is the craziest shoot you've ever had or things you've done to get a shot?
Oh my God. So I've done a lot of crazy things, a lot of dangerous things, to be honest, like a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
hanging from buildings. Like
I heard that. I
now,
heard that.
oh yes, I would say the wildest thing was going through a hurricane to get, I was the only car on the road for 11
Okay.
hours, like driving
Yeah.
to get to the next shoot because I could have called and I could have said, "Hey, do you know what? I all the flights are canceled. I won't be able to get there." No, I was the only person in the rental car agency. I was the only person on the road on my own, driving through a major storm. I mean, by the time it got to the shore, it was tropical storm, but still
Yeah.
the trees were going. Like I didn't realize my windshield was broken. I was so determined to actually go. I stopped for 11 hours. I stopped once.
That's crazy. That
But
is
like,
crazy.
but I was
But
thinking
did you get the
politely.
shot? But did you get the shot though?
I got the shot because that was the sunny day, and this building needed, because it had this stunning atrium, it needed that shot. So I don't know. I don't think there's anything that will stop me. Well, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I shot a major project with torn calf, and I didn't tell anyone until I finished. So I was like, no, I need to finish this. It's an amazing project. There were safety guys there, so I know if I've said anything, I would have been taken to the
Yeah.
hospital. But do you know, it shows you mind over matter. Your
It does.
mind
Yeah.
is so strong, and you can achieve pretty much anything you want if you really want it. You can always say, "Oh my God, my leg is not okay. I'm gonna sit down," and that's about it. And so what?
Exactly.
Like, your body is much stronger and your mind is much stronger than you actually think. We just
No,
need to challenge
absolutely.
ourselves.
It goes back to that discomfort, that daily discomfort. As it's funny, I've been watching a gentleman recently, and he does ultra marathons and things like that. And he's literally, his thing is like daily discomfort. He's an advocate for daily discomfort, and that is literally his
100%.
tagline. And I'm like, oh, that's so amazing, and it's so meta because I'm running, I'm trying to get back into running, and I'm literally running on a treadmill, watching a video about someone running, and it's like I can't stop. I can't stop running when I'm watching someone actually doing this or whatever.
Exactly.
You can't do it. You
As
recently
we
want to
talked,
know.
as we
Oh no.
just talked, sorry to interrupt you. Like, I haven't slept
Yeah.
for now, what, 34 hours? I pretty much arrived home at 5 o'clock in the morning, had meetings and calls, and I needed to select images. I don't feel even tired.
Yeah. No. You just
But I
go.
could
You
I
just
could
go.
just tell myself, "Oh, you haven't slept all night. You should be tired." But I think, they're saying that the brain doesn't understand between reality and what you tell
Hmm.
yourself.
Yeah.
So I
No.
always think if I keep telling myself the positive things,
Yeah.
the brain doesn't understand what's happening, right? It's thinking,
No.
"Yeah, she slept all night."
Exactly. It's mind over matter, literally. What I was just gonna say is you recently won an award for shooting the Portland airport. I'm from Portland, Oregon, so for me that hits even more because everyone takes photos of that now that they remodeled it. But so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
But what I want to know is, I know again, business advocate, 3 year plan, 5 year plan. What is next? What is next for Ema Peter? What are we seeing in 2030 over the next 5 years? What will you be doing?
Oh my God. So hopefully, like, I really love the experience that I had in Saudi Arabia. So I'm really
Okay.
hoping I would get to work more there because it's been such a eye opener of a different part of the world.
Okay.
So I definitely want to do more projects there. But as I was saying, I really want to somehow leave something for my kids so that I not only I did photography, I want somehow to showcase architects that are working for different causes,
Okay.
whether it's social housing, whether it's like environmental, whether I just want to showcase purpose of different architects, and I want to somehow surround myself with people that do mainly this. So hopefully in 10, 15 years, when my kids are all grown up, they'll look and they'll say, okay, my mom tried to do something that actually potentially helped me or helped others. Because taking photos and recording is wonderful, but creating some sort of an impact, like a lot of architects at the moment are really trying to create
Yeah.
impact in different areas. So that's the goal. The goal
Okay.
is to actually showcase something that would actually benefit my kids as well.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you would do it. I have no doubt based upon our interaction over
Hopefully.
these last 30 plus minutes. This has been amazing. I appreciate you for taking the time within your crazy schedule. I know we were scheduling and you're like, yeah, I get back, so and so, so I can do
Yes,
this. I'm like, you had every reason to be like, oh, we can do it another time. So thank you.
of
This has been
course.
amazing. I'm sure everyone will find it extremely inspirational. I know I did, and I want to go back and read a couple more books again. But I can't wait
Absolutely.
to
Yes.
watch and see what you do. It's been amazing to connect.
Thank you so much. And hopefully, if people are taking something out of it, inspiration is important. But the person who will inspire you the most is yourself.
Love that. That is a great way to end it. Thank you so much, Emma.
Of course. Thank you so much.
All right, bye
Thanks.
bye.